Hello there, I'm Melanie Bernicle. How are we all? Today is going to be fun. It's DIY brows at home, and there's so many things that you can do yourself when it comes to brows. And as you can see, mine are quite sparse. Yes, I did have some fun in the 90s, but I also have quite fine, fair hair, so there's not all that much there. We're going to work through a couple of different products to show you how you can do your own brows if you're going out, how to groom the brows, and also how to dye your brows at home. Now, everything's really simple and a lot of fun, but my number one tip for anyone else who wears glasses out there and struggles and tends to miss a bit when they don't have one of these is my little trusty magnifying mirror. And as you can see, it's super strong and not just a little bit frightening, but yeah, at this point, my glasses prescription is pretty up there. So without one of these little babies, I seriously can't see what I'm doing. To get you started, we want to talk about length, shape, height. Where does it go? How do we do it? It's pretty straightforward. There's 3 key spots that you can think about when you're shaping your brow. The first one, where you're wanting your brow to start, is about where you've got this little point in here. You want to kind of go up, and it's about 1 millimeter in. So you can see that my eyebrows naturally don't start there. Mine start further in, so then it gives the appearance that they're further away. And what you're aiming for with the brow is almost a little bit of symmetry if you're really wanting to give them a wow factor and make them pop and frame the eyes. Most people think, oh, but my eyebrows aren't even. I've had 23 years of people sitting in my makeup chair, and it doesn't matter who they are, where they're from, it's pretty much the same. Most people's brows aren't symmetrical. So don't worry about that. Like, you know, have your own individuality shining through. But if you are going to go for a stronger brow, or you are trying to balance them out a little bit, there's a few little tips and tricks that I can teach you. The next point is when you're looking straight ahead in the mirror, on the outside edge of the iris is where you want your high point to be. So that's like the tip of the arch. And then a finishing point is you measure from the outside edge of your nose to the outside edge of the eye, and that's about the finishing point. So that's where you want it to be tapered off. And the reason why that is the case is because when you start to bring the brow further down, you start to close out the eye. And I don't know about you, but as I'm aging, I'm nearly 44. When we're talking in the makeup world, if everything's going in an upwards direction, it gives a more youthful appearance. So if you've got a heavy brow pulling you down here, that weight in there is just going to drag it down and not give you that youthful appearance that you're after. We need some tweezers. What you want to do when you're tweezing and grooming your own brows is brush the hair up and then see where you need to go in. Now, you can see I've got 1 or 2 little ones here. I've got my trusty little slanty tweezers, and tweeze away from the direction of the hair. Okay, so that's the tweezing. And I always like to brush up and brush away, just to sort of see what's there, what's not there. If you don't have one of these, what we call this in the makeup world is a bit of a spoolie. So if you don't have a double-ended brush or a little spoolie, you can use one of your old mascara wands. And what you can do is just clean it off with a bit of shampoo, but make sure all of the product's out of the end of it prior to using it. And that way they're reusable, and you can just wash it in between your uses as well. Okay, so let's take you through now a couple of ways to do the brows. We've got some natural looks, and we'll do a couple of more intense brows, just if you're going for something with a bit of drama. To start off with, I'm using the 1000 Hour. Now, if you've got a golden hair color, these guys do a great light color, and it is really warm. It's called here light brown blonde. Now, a lot of brands sort of go into the more sable tones and the cooler tones when it comes to brows. So if you have got that warmer look, this is a really great brand. It's one of the only golden ones that I've found on the market that's quite golden. So when you're working with this, obviously you want to take the edge off of the product like you would with a mascara, and then starting in here and just brushing up using or grooming, I'm going to add a few extra little hairs in there because I don't have any. And then I'm just working this through the hair to brush up through this area. And then you're working along the direction of the hairs and you're sort of building it up to the level of coverage that you like. If you've got grey hairs, using a brow mascara is a great way to cover it really quickly. So you can see the difference that it makes on my face. Now, I haven't worked in any extra shape. I'm working with the brow that I've got. And you can see the difference because through here it's quite sparse, and then through here is a beautiful natural brow using a brow mascara. You can see really in comparison just the difference it makes in just framing the eyes, especially through here where it's really quite sparse. Now just on this side, I'll do another natural looking brow, but with a pencil, just so you can see the difference in the products. Now, everyone's very different, so don't feel that one product's right or wrong. It's about what you feel comfortable using. And I could teach you the best tricks, but if you don't feel comfortable holding a pencil and you prefer this, then use that. In my mind, I always think teaching somebody with makeup, it's about finding the tools and the products that work for you. The great thing about this is a Garbo and Kelly product. They do fantastic brows, and I use a lot of theirs in my kit, as well as the 1000 Hour. You've got your spoolie end on this side, and then you've also got a really quite fine pencil. I always start by brushing the hair up, so I only fill in where I need. What I want to do is create little hair-like strokes, just gently doing this. And again, so I'm working with the natural shape of the brow in through here first. You can see that starting to fill that area out. And then I'm following the natural shape of the brow. Then just in here, I'm going to just really lightly do some little hair-like strokes. And you can see even in this area, I do get quite sparse. So I'm just going to strengthen that area up by going along the bottom there. So here I'm going up, and then here I'm just really giving it a bit more shape. Naturally, I've got quite a good arch going on. I'm just going to soften that a little bit just by going underneath. A lot of people think you always have to go above, but look how much space I've got here. So for me, filling this area in just underneath here takes away that harshness of the arch, because sometimes the arch can be a little bit, it's not too bad, but at the same time, to soften it out a little bit, I'll go underneath rather than creating more of an arch. I just really fill this in. And even though I'm blonde, I'm using the warm brown. And then I'll brush up again. A great little trick that I use, if you've gone whoops, and you've actually done a harsh line, turn over your little spoolie end and then push this area onto the skin and do this, because you'll actually get some little marks in it and that'll break up the harsh line that you've done. Don't think you've got to get makeup remover and take it off. I don't have time for that first thing in the morning. You can see the difference. Now that within itself, that's a little bit stronger than this one. So this is your really natural working with your own brow. This is with a really fine pencil, and it's really framing my eyes. So if you're looking at this, it's really giving me shape. And you can see how my brow is naturally quite high through here. And I've got all this space. So remember, I've just gone under just to soften that out a little bit. Because if I would have gone higher, it's going to, we don't want that startled look, do we? You can see the difference by bringing the colour in just a little bit, how much it really frames my eyes. Just by bringing it into that 1 millimeter. So those 3 marks that we talked about, is the starting point is 1 millimeter in here. So you measure it there. There's our starting point. When you're looking straight ahead, on the outside edge of the iris is where your high point is. And your finishing point is from the outside edge of the nose to the outside edge of the eye, and you follow that line. And that's just a generalization. Now, everyone's face shape is different, so work with what you have and love what you have, because everyone's unique. This is just a guide as to where to trim, where do you put your arch in if you don't have one, so that's when you would work above. But they're, to me, just 2 nice, really natural style brows that you can do at home with a beautiful pencil or a nice little brow gel. Now, for those of you who think that can be a little bit tricky finding your points, Garbo and Kelly, one of the brands that I work with a lot, you can see that I work with a lot because it's in my makeup kit, and you can see it travels around with me. These guys have created stencils that you can use basically, especially for those of us that need glasses and don't have one of my little magic magnifying mirrors, what we can do is hold them up, place them on, and then fill the brows in. Now, you've got some full-on drama ones here. You've got Monroe, so she definitely had a good sized brow going on. Then you've got Taylor, Garbo, and then you've got Kelly. Let's do one just to show you the difference. With these, what you do is you hold them up, and you can, I don't know if you can see on here, but they actually have the line. So that line is where our line is, the one that we started with. And you just turn from one side to the other side. I think I'm gonna go Garbo. Now for this, I'm going to use a powder. What I do like about the Garbo and Kelly powders is you've got two tones in there. This one I'm using is Cool Blonde because I want to keep it a bit cooler in shade just for this. And I'm going to work over the one where we've already just have a little bit of that in there. See if I can juggle and hold all these up. This is where I'll use this brush. Now, because I already have the high arch, what I will do is I don't want too much more of an arch. So here's my starting point with the line on it. You can see the line. And you can see also they've got the finishing point on there for you with the angle. So what I'm going to do is start with my brow already with the arch in there and use the space that I have down here. So if you don't have the arch, that's when you can go like this and you can create the arch up above. But because I've already got quite a decent arch going on and a lot of space down here, I'm going to place this on there. And then what you do is you just hold it with your two fingers like this and then you free yourself up. I'm putting the product in, and when I dip it, I'm dipping it into both sides just because I'm a makeup artist and I can't help myself. Like a bit of all the colors going in. All I'm doing is pressing that down and I'm going to fill it in. And again, I'm using the Cool Blonde, so I'm not doing anything too dark, but you'll see, because I'm putting intensity of product and I'm really working it in here, that it really will build to what I need it to. It just makes your life a little bit easier if you don't have the mirror, or it's a fun way of sort of playing up your makeup and really giving it that va-va-voom. Brows are one of those great features that don't take too much work, but really give you payoff and drama effect when it comes to the look. Yeah, I am just going to work over the top, just out through here. So when I take this off, like, wow, that's a Hollywood brow if ever I've seen one. And then just to soften that out, so you can see when I finish the shape, you've got a line through here. And if you really want that strong definition, keep that. But if you don't, do what I'm doing now. See just under here where I had that sharper line, using the end of the spoolie and just brushing it through. And what that's doing is just softening out that line. So I'm keeping the intensity. You know, if I was just going to a normal day at work, that's where I'd be at. Beautiful, natural, and then you've got your wow brow. Now, some other great things you can do at home, I've gone back to taking my brows off, is the 1000 hour dye kit. You can do your lashes and you can do your brows. Lashes, you know, I tend to make a bit of a mess doing it, but it actually works and the product doesn't stain your skin. So this is super, super easy. I just measure out about 1 centimetre there. And then with the developer, you add about 10 drops. You just want to make it work into an even consistency. And then you've even got in the packaging, whoopsie daisies, massaging it into each other, working it around, and you'll get it to a decent consistency. I also do this on my mum when I go to visit her in the country. She does have a couple of grey hairs that appear through the brow, and this does cover them. If you are wanting that grey coverage really covered up on the brows, just leave it on a little bit longer. Place it on. I do like to get right at the roots because I do have a lot of fair hairs. A lot of people just go along and they'll just do the top just like this. But what I do is get right in there. And don't worry if you make a mess. Just keep a cotton tip on standby, or, you know, one of these. And just wipe under there. Even if it does stain and you do make a mistake, don't stress, because it's a great product in the sense that it does come off the skin really quite quickly. And if you prefer to use a cotton tip to apply, great. Or if you want to use your mascara wand, you can as well. Everything's in this kit for you. Then all I've got here is just some micellar water. You can use a cotton tip if you feel that you prefer to use a cotton tip. Just through here, taking it off the skin, Alrighty, that's simple, and leaving it on for about 10 minutes. Alrighty, so the 10 minutes is up, da, da, da. And all I've just done is saturate these and just wipe it over. So you can see how easy that is, but then I've also got this great natural colour that makes life pretty easy. You saw how much I actually put on my skin and it doesn't really stain it. But it looks like my brows are done without having to do anything else to it. So this is a great way, if you do have the time, spend the 10 minutes doing it, and your brows look done pretty much for 4 to 6 weeks. You can see in comparison to having to draw them on and play with them, and that might be something that you don't feel comfortable dyeing them yourself, but you can see just without too much effort, that's 10 minutes, guys, and 1,000 hour. And I did, even with my fair hair, dark brown, and for me, quite happy with that, and I don't have to do my brows now for a while. But again, if you wanted to, sometimes a clear brow mascara, just to brush them up and give them the shape. Now that they're all coloured and looking glam. That's just a clear brow mascara, and that one is Garbo and Kelly. So I've really hoped you enjoyed my DIY brows at home, and it just goes to show there's so much you can do, and you don't need to be a makeup artist. It's about following the 3 points, getting yourself one of these if you wear glasses, because it will help, trust me. But yeah, enjoy, have some fun, and please feel free to shoot me a message on Beauty Boss Business on Instagram. Let me know how you go, see if you've had a play with any of the products, and if you need any more tips and tricks, check out beautybossbusiness.com. All right, see you later.